I'll say this. This is probably one of the better collisions that have happened in recently, I should say. But there's just still a lot of issues for me. Um, but we'll talk about the issues when we get to them. I'm gonna kick this shit off. So we had Andrade El Idolo versus Daniel Garcia. Garcia, who is fresh off a championship match against MJF this past Wednesday. They stick him in a random match with Andrade El Idolo. For what reason, I have no idea. Just so we can see Garcia get beat again. I don't know, it's just so random to me. We haven't seen Garcia on TV for a little while, and he wins a match on Rampage, has the balls to call out MGF for a world championship match, lose, and then gets put in a match with Andrade and loses again. It's almost like if they think that if they have a competitive match with anybody, that's an out for them to not look bad in defeat. Is if the match is competitive. Which I can appreciate because that's not what WWE does. To make people look good. They don't have consistent competitive matches to get an out of somebody. They usually do fuck finishes or something else. So in AEW's mind is if this guy has a competitive match with this other guy, this guy who loses can't look that bad if they lose, right? Well, when you stick a guy like Garcia against your world champion and have him lose, and then stick him against Andrade El Idolo for completely no reason whatsoever, another top guy in AEW, and he loses again. Like I don't I don't know where they're going with Garcia. They bring him back to TV, has two really good competitive matches with MJF and Andrade. He loses both. The MJF match was so random, and the Andrade match was just randomly put together. What are they doing with Garcia? What is the plan here? Is he just gonna keep having good matches and lose until he realizes that he's not a sports entertainer? We've been down that road already before with the whole sports entertainer shit. Been down that road before. Are we gonna go down it again? Is that what's happening? No, they teased a split between him and where are they 2.0? Angelo Parker and Matt Menard. They teased a little breakup there on Wednesday. They weren't here this week. I mean, on Saturday. Where were they? Saturday. They were nowhere to be found for Garcia's match. Andrade has CJ, so I guess whatever between him and CJ is their business. It's just their business. Oh, apparently it's our business now because we all know that she's working with him. She's Andrade's new manager. And boy, has Andrade gone through his fair shares of managers. He gets another one in CJ. Only for all this for the CJ turn on Andrade to join back up with Miro, which I think is which I think is gonna happen. I just assume that's what's gonna happen because that I don't know. But again, this match between Andrade and Garcia was very good, but I don't see how this benefits Garcia, and it elevates Andrade. Andrade should have won regardless, but I just think it should have been a different opponent. Are we gonna see Garcia again Wednesday? Are we gonna see him again, or is he gonna disappear? Andrade was the right winner. Good match. Right outcome. But just wrong opponent. There's just a lot of people that they put on these shows just to have good matches with no real direction. And this was another case of that. Speaking of another case of that, we had Nick Wayne versus Dalton Castle. Now, this is what Dalton Castle has been up to in recent weeks, right? He had a ROH championship match against Eddie Kingston on ROH TV not too long ago. Lost that, okay? Then we saw him with the boys on Collision last week, acting heelish against the Acclaimed. They ruined their 69 day. That's a pretty heelish thing for somebody to do, one would think, right? And then we just see Dalton Castle against Nick Wayne. Back to old babyface Dalton Castle. What are they doing? All this just random shit that be happening. How does Dalton Castle go from challenging for the Ring of Honor World Championship to having a match with the Acclaimed for the 6-man? Well, I don't think it was for the titles, but why do all that heelish stuff by breaking the 69 trophy and all this other shit to have a match with the Acclaimed that was pretty much a picture-in-picture match predominantly last week, and to now him challenging Nick Wayne or having a match with Nick? Doesn't make any sense. Dalton Castle is somebody that could be a big star in the company, and I'm not saying that just to say it. Look at the crowd reaction Dalton Castle got tonight. There was so many Dalton Castle chants, loud Dalton Castle chants, in Oakland, California, of all places. There were signs that said, "We want more Dalton Castle." And you're just sticking, like I said with Garcia, you're just sticking him in a random shit. ROH World Championship match. Match with the Acclaimed. Now a match against Nick Wayne. Oh, by the way, lost all 3 of those matches. He was acting like a heel last week. Now he's a babyface again. Shit just doesn't make any sense. No, I mean, for the match was fine for what it was. Luchasaurus chokeslammed the boys outside the ring onto the floor, which distracted Dalton for Nick Wayne to throw him into the ring post, and then to hit the a cutter on Castle, and Nick Wayne beats Dalton Castle. If you want to get Nick Wayne over, there's other ways to do it instead of just putting a guy like Dalton Castle against Nick Wayne. A lot of people may not like Dalton Castle because of his gimmick, his flamboyance, or whatever you want to call it. But the point is, he's different. Can't take your eyes off of him. He has a great entrance. The crowd loves him. And you're just plugging him in. We don't even see him that much. He had a match with Jay White not too long ago, which he lost. And yes, he should have lost to Jay White, but why even put him in that match? With no context, no story, no nothing. Just a random match. Tony has something with Dalton Castle. If he just, even go way back to, the Jericho thing, right? Castle came out, interrupted Jericho when Jericho was ROH champion, right? Castle came out on TV and got, I think it was in Canada, got a huge reaction. The crowd was chanting his name. And even the match with Jericho. You have something with Dalton Castle and the boys, but we hardly see him. We only see him when Tony just plucks him into things randomly. Just like Garcia does. Just like he did with Garcia recently. Just plugging him in to random things. You have something with Dalton Castle and the boys. You do. The crowd wants more Dalton Castle. This is a guy who got himself over, had no business being over in Ring of Honor. And a lot of that may had something to do with Cody. But at the same time, when Ring of Honor was at its hottest, when Ring of Honor was at its hottest, Dalton Castle was the world champion, and he got insane reactions, good matches, good to great matches. I like one that comes to my mind is obviously when he beat Cody for the title, the ROH title, and the three-way between Dalton, Cody, and Marty Scurll. You have something with Dalton Castle. And I don't think just plucking a guy who can get over and get connected to an audience like he has, and nobody can say he hasn't because just look at the crowd reaction last night, and just plucking him into random fucking things. You just can't do that. Can't do that. If you're going to use Dalton Castle on TV, use him in a good, proper way. Ugh. Next, we got a Hangman Adam Page promo. And this was probably the best Hangman Page promo we've heard him have in quite a long time. And I felt this was well due ever since we're broke into his house. I felt like this promo should have happened like the week after. The home invasion thing. But during the promo, he announces that it will be a Texas death match between him and Swerve. Okay. I mean, yeah, the feud definitely warrants some type of stipulation, but a Texas death match, they love doing Texas death matches in AEW. They love doing those things. I think this is Hangman's like third death match. Texas death, his third Texas death match. He had one with Archer, right? And did he had one? He had one with Adam Cole, too, I think, or somebody else. I don't know. But the point is, fantastic promo, Texas death match of Full Gear, the pay-per-view named after Hangman Adam Page. But yeah, Hangman furthered the story. Can't complain about it. Good promo, good segment. Then we had the Workhorsemen, Anthony Henry and JD Drake versus Rush and Dralistico of LFI. Again, basically just a squash match. This match was designed to put Rush and Dralistico over against a perfect team to do that. Anthony Henry and JD Drake. This is a good showcase victory for Rush and Dralistico. But I think we've just seen so many squash matches on Collision. Yeah, it doesn't really do anything in my eyes. Maybe it does for you guys, but I know how good Rush and Dralistico are. I don't think we needed to see a squash match, but if it's just a warm-up match before the pay-per-view next week, sure. It was fine. Rush pin JD Drake to get the win. That's that. We get a House of Black promo. Says they're coming for the AEW tag titles. Julia Hart says she wants a rematch for the TBS title at Full Gear. So then they announced that tonight it will be Willow versus Julia in a eliminator match. And then on Wednesday we're gonna get Sky Blue versus Red Velvet in a eliminator match. Couple things here. Why are eliminator matches a fucking thing? So stupid. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Shouldn't be a thing. It's like those championship what were those things WWE used to do all the fucking time? It's the same concept, but they called it different. They called it differently. But anyways, so stupid. Eliminator matches should not be a thing. They're just dumb. Just call it number one contenders matches. And they're not even eliminator matches because weren't the past eliminator matches where a champion versus somebody, and if that somebody beats the champion, then they get a championship match? This literally just should be a number one contenders match, not a eliminator match. Stupid. Then we get Statlander and Nightingale backstage talking about stuff that's been going on with Sky and Julia. So they're tired of Julia's games and okay, this part was fucking so stupid to me. Statlander looks at Willow and says, "I hope you win tonight. You deserve a championship opportunity." She just had a AEW Women's Championship match against Sheeta last week. Not only that, she lost an AEW women's number one contender. What was it? 4-way, 3-way. That previous Rampage, and then she ended up getting a championship match the following week. The following week, anyways. How does Willow deserve to be a champion? I like Willow a lot, but based off what she's been doing on TV, this shit don't make no sense to why she should get any kind of championship opportunity. How do you lose a championship contenders match and then get a championship match within a week, and then the following week another women's champion's like, oh yeah, you deserve a championship match? What? She just had one against the other women's title and lost. And then she lost the contenders match. This shit make no sense. Next we had Roderick Strong versus Darius Martin. Strong is accompanied by the Kingdom. They roll him down in a stupid wheelchair to the ring for his match. Like I said this last week, this Roderick Strong stuff was funny at first, but it's really dragged out. I mean, it's gone on too long. Do something different. You know, this had so much potential because when the Kingdom and Roddy cut that one promo, however many weeks ago, probably even months ago, it was when they explained that Adam's being a bad friend because he left the Kingdom and Ring of Honor to join the Bullet Club, right? And then he left Roddy in WWE and joined AEW. Like they were explaining how Adam has always left Roderick in the Kingdom, which was fair. There were true points. That is something that they could have played into to cause a real deep story on TV, and then they just turned it to comedy. And it's not funny anymore. It's drawn out. Do something different, or do something to elevate whatever story they're trying to tell, because Adam's hurt. He's been popping up on TV screen like he's some fucking internet god or something. Like he's fucking Control Freak from Teen Titans. Like he just pops up on random TV screen. Do something to elevate wherever the fuck this is going. Instead of doing the same, oh my neck, they've been doing this forever. It's ran its course. Yeah, people still do the whole Adam thing. That's fine. But just do something to elevate this to where it's going somewhere. Because right now I feel it's just not going anywhere. Everybody knows he's faking his neck injury at this point. Everybody knows. It's ran its course. Do something. Do some kind of follow-up. Roderick beats Darius Martin in a predominantly one-sided match. Another one-sided match on Colision. Who would have thunk it? So after the match, Kingdom gets in the ring and they beat up Martin after. Action Andretti makes a save. And yeah, that was that. Again, do something to progress something. It feels like they just don't know what to do going forward, so they're just going to keep doing this until they come up with an idea to advance, to progress, advance the storyline of some sort. So hopefully they can do something soon. Then we go backstage to Bryan Danielson and Tony Khan. They talk about All In. Boy, and to be fair, as they should, they love talking about how successful All In was. And again, which they have every right to, but it's starting to get Like the Roderick thing is starting to get a bit annoying. It's all they talk about. Again, a huge milestone. 1,000% all credit to him. But they don't need to talk about it every week. And Tony doesn't need to talk about it every time he does a press thing. So they announced that, the tickets for All In, again, go on sale. You can sign up for tickets and all that stuff about All In. And he says that Danielson will be a part of All In. Now, and that is false advertising if Danielson gets hurt again. You practically announced that he's going to be on the show. And if he gets injured and he can't be on the show, then you're false advertising, my guy. So then they announced something interesting that I myself have wanted since this became a thing, considering the amount of excellent wrestlers they have. They are finally doing a round robin G1 style tournament. Finally, this is something that I've wanted, and probably a lot of fans wanted, considering the caliber of wrestlers they have on their roster to do something like this. Now, I believe in the G1, it was before because now they've added people, and now there's 4 blocks instead of 2. They used to just do 2 blocks. New Japan did. They used to just do 2 blocks, where it was 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. Yep, 2 blocks, 10 participants, 10 people in each block. So that's how New Japan did it before they expanded into 4 blocks. So AEW is basically doing a G1 style tournament where you have 2 blocks, and each wrestler in each block is going to wrestle each other once. And the winners of each block are going to wrestle into the final. So there's going to be 6 wrestlers and 12 wrestlers total. AEW does not have the best track record when it comes to doing tournaments. They have the wrestlers to do really good tournaments, but each time they do a tournament, it's bullshit. I'm just going to be honest. Like this Grand Slam tournament they just did was bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit. They set up a feud between MJF and Samoa Joe before anybody was announced for the tournament. So it was 1000% predictable. And it didn't help when people, I don't even remember who was in the tournament. It was so fucking forgettable. The best tournament they've done was probably the one where they needed to crown a new champion. Punk would Brawl Out happen. Right? In that tournament, you had Danielson, Moxley, Jericho. Trying to think, but that one was probably the most loaded tournament they've done. But yeah, their track record with tournaments are so shit. So hopefully, they can load this one up and really do a proper tournament with the caliber of athletes that they have on their roster. You literally have 20 wrestlers who are fucking awesome. Just pick 12. It's not hard to put 12 of your best wrestlers in the company and put them in a tournament. I could even do it. So they now said Danielson is a first entry, right? So he obviously has a spot, right? So I'm gonna just free ball it right here, right? You can put Edge in there. You could put Hangman Page in there. You could put Andrade in there. You can put Buddy Matthews in there. You could put Brody King in there. I wouldn't put Jericho in there. Let's be honest. You can put Claudio in there. You can put Eddie Kingston. You could put Jay White, Jay Lethal, Moxley, Keith Lee, Kenny Omega, Juice Robinson. I'm literally writing this shit for you, my dog. Malachi Black, Miro. I don't think MJF is gonna be. Put Pac in there if he's healthy. Put Pentagon, Phoenix, Samoa Joe, Rouge, Swerve, Wardlow. I just listen like you literally pick any 12 of those guys to have a complete banger of a tournament. So hopefully they can get this shit right, stack up that tournament, have some awesome round robin style esque matches. Winner gets a title shot at what's their first pick? Is it Double or Nothing? Oh, it's Revolution. But yeah, and by the way, I don't think I've ever said this, but they're calling it the Continental Classic. A bit iffy on the name, but it's whatever. But yeah, hopefully they can do this right. So then we had a TBS Championship Eliminator match: Julia Hart versus Willow Nightingale. Julia won, right decision. Pretty good match. She's gotten so good, hasn't she? Julia Hart. She's gotten so good. And I think with all the drama surrounding her and Statlander and Willow and Sky Blue, this whatever well, obviously Sky is gonna win because why the fuck is even Red Velvet even getting consideration for a championship opportunity when she just had her first match back in 9 months last week? But it's obviously gonna be Julia, Statlander, and Sky. And I'm interested because I want to know where they're going to go. I want to know who's going to win. I'd put the belt on Julia just because, and I hate to say it, but Statlander's TBS run has been fucking awful. It really has. It's been fucking awful. Her match with Julia Hart was the best match of her reign, and this is the best thing she's been involved with as far as a storyline goes. And it's all been because of Julia Hart. Well, I wouldn't say all of it's been because of Julia Hart, but it's predominantly just been Julia Hart that's been like the star of this whole thing. Put the belt on Julia and just let that shit ride, man. I'm sorry to Statlander, but her run has been not good. We had Ricky Starks and Big Bill backstage. They say they don't want nothing to do with any of the other teams. And then as soon as they say that, Lexi says, "Oh well, Tony Khan made it official. It'll be LFI, FTR, the House of Black, and you guys in a 4-way match for the World Tag Team Championship." Huh? Now, don't get me wrong. This does make sense storyline wise and the feuds that's been going on Collision. But where's the Blackpool Combat Club? Where the fuck have they been at? Why are they not in this match? Because if I'm not mistaken, they are also feuding with these other teams, right? Am I missing something? There was no involvement with the Blackpool Combat Club in any of this tonight. So what the fuck? I know Moxley was in Dallas the night before because of the New Japan show he was booked on, where he and Yuta wrestled David Finlay and Kenta the night before. And where were they, in Oakland? So Moxley and Yuta probably weren't in town, but could have had Claudio do something or something. The fact that the Blackpool Combat Club is not involved in this match, it's just bad booking. Because why even involve them in the first place at the start of this feud that's been going on between the 5 fucking teams. And on top of that, the Young Bucks have a tag team title shot in their back pocket anytime they want. So that's 6 teams. And if Jericho and Omega beat the Bucks, they get their tag title shot. And the Bucks are going to say, oh, well, we earned this anyways, blah, blah, blah. So that's fucking 7 teams right there that are coming after one set of tag titles. Not to mention that Jericho and Omega are not only feuding with the Young Bucks, but they're also feuding with the fucking Don Callis family. Not to mention, I don't know why Kyle Fletcher's in the Don Callis family because he's a part of the United Empire. Unless this guy is just pulling double duty and being a part of both factions. No idea. It's just all a giant clusterfuck. Paul White comes out for commentary for Powerhouse Hobbs match against his jobber. I don't think they ever said his name. He beats him really quick, and Callis gets in the ring. Says that his family's the greatest family in all of wrestling, and he tries to convince Paul White to change his mind about being involved in their match next week. And this shit was fucking hilarious. So while Callis is cutting this promo on Paul White, some woman in the crowd screams and yells at Callis saying, "You look like a hot dog." I was laughing so hard I got lightheaded, and I don't even know what the fuck Callis said the rest of this promo or this segment. I was fucking crying laughing. I stopped paying attention because that shit was hilarious. Because when you look at Callis, he gets red, and you're just like, yeah. And he's bald, and his head, like his body, like, yep, kind of does look like a hot dog. That shit was hilarious. But yeah, this AW just a giant mess storyline wise, and I just think they just need to work on that. And a lot of shit just doesn't make sense, and you have people involved with so many other people. It's hard to follow, and it's just stupid. And they need to get better at it. Main event was Lance Archer and the Righteous, who formed as a group last week to attack Darby Allin. Why? No idea. Just another team that Darby, Sting, and Adam have to feud with alongside Christian's little group. But I will say this: Edge does look like he's having a lot more fun. I mean, he's out here doing fucking suicide dives and jumping off the ring steps and all. He's doing all kinds of crazy shit, and it is cool and fun to see Adam do stuff that normally doesn't do in matches. It's pretty cool because he looks like he's enjoying himself. No, as a match, I just thought it was all right. He got a little messy at times. Adam hitting that suicide dive was fucking nuts, though. I don't think I've ever seen him do a suicide dive. I know he did the spear through the ropes on Mick Foley at that one WrestleMania 22. Does it count as a suicide? I guess it does. But Adam pins Vincent for the win. For Adam, Sting, and Darby. Right decision, right team won, and a random group got formed last week loses in their first match as a group. Just, whatever, man. Christian, Nick Wayne, and Luchasaurus come out and they just stare at Darby, Sting, and Adam as the show goes off the air. So that was Collision. Like I said at the beginning, probably one of the better collisions in recent memory. And not saying much. Still a lot of shit that just doesn't make sense. Still people involved with a bunch of other people. It's just a giant clusterfuck. that was the Collision review. If you guys like that, sub, like button, comment, all that good stuff. Follow my socials. They've been on the screen the whole time. Just go check that out. I stream on Kick pretty much every day, 4 days of the week. You guys want to come in, talk wrestling? I'm always down to. I'll see you guys later. Peace.